Welcome, everyone. We are live with another episode of Level Up Law, where every Tuesday at noon, South Carolina Legal Services levels up your legal knowledge about an area of law that we practice in. I'm Susan Engel, Senior Staff Attorney, here with our producer, Kenneth Elliott, in the background. And you are looking live at Attorney Tiffany Love from our Rock Hill office of South Carolina Legal Services. She is our lead attorney for barriers to employment here at SCLS. And today, Tiffany is going to provide an overview of resources available to returning citizens. It's Second Chances Month, and so this is a great opportunity to give our viewers an update on what is available to returning citizens. But before that, we always want to remind you, of course, that this is not legal advice. It's just general information for the public, but it is important information, and so it's important that we get it out to you, and this is real timely for Second Chances Month. If you do need the help of a lawyer on this or some other topic, call our intake line here at Legal Services or apply online. That information will be provided at the end of Tiffany's presentation today. And remember, all of our episodes are recorded and posted by our producer, Kenneth Elliott, on our YouTube channel, so you can always find it there. For today, Tiffany can answer general questions if there's time at the conclusion of her presentation. So if you do have any questions, just put them in the question box, and I will read those out to her at the end. So without further ado, Tiffany, let's get started.
Thank you, Susie. Good afternoon, everyone. As Susie mentioned, my name is Tiffany Love, and today's presentation is going to focus on Second Chance Month, also known as Reentry Month. And I'm just going to be providing an overview of resources for returning citizens in South Carolina. And the resources being provided today are just some basic tools that can help you maneuver through the process yourself, as well as organizations and groups that you can reach out to that can also help you get through the process of returning back home and adjusting back into everyday life. Just start with explaining what Second Chance Month is. Each year, our organization recognizes Second Chance Month along with the U.S. Department of Justice's Office of Justice Programs and multiple state and local organizations and agencies across the country. So it's recognized almost everywhere in the country. And it's important because, unfortunately, this shouldn't be something that's just contained in one month, but these resources are provided all year long, and we can see why they're necessary because according to the Sentencing Project, as many as 1 in 3 Americans have some type of criminal record. And that's having even a minor criminal record, which means even if that's something as minor as a misdemeanor or an arrest that doesn't show a conviction, that can create an array of lifelong barriers for a person. So this month is very important. The purpose is to assist our fellow citizens with assimilating back into their communities, and by providing information and resources to negate the collateral consequences derived from their criminal record. A few more statistics about reentry, specifically in South Carolina. In 2021, there was a report completed by the Virginia Department of Corrections, which indicated that our state actually has one of the lowest recidivism rates in the country. Recidivism rates averaged about 3 years, standing at 21.9%. This means that 4 out of 5 prisoners in our state do not return to prison within 3 years after they are released. Some projected hurdles that a person may experience when re-entering back into their community is identification, whether that's just a state-issued identification card, your birth certificate, your social security card, a driver's license. Do you need to get your real ID? Employment eligibility, your criminal record is obviously going to have some impact on you obtaining employment or promotions or even retaining employment. in housing and public benefits. You may not be able to obtain preferred housing or any housing, or obtain public benefits that you may need to support yourself and your family if you have a criminal record. We'll start with identification. Many people don't have the proper identification and necessary documentation to move forward when returning home. Obviously, having an ID is extremely important and necessary for all of us, because a lack of a state issued identification card or your driver's license or birth certificate or even your social security card can act as an extreme barrier for someone attempting to utilize that second chance. You need an ID to work. You need an ID to enroll in school. You need an ID to travel, whether that's domestic or internationally. You need an ID to drive, to vote, and even enter government buildings. So let's talk about how you can start by getting your own ID card without reaching out to an organization or having someone do it on your behalf. There's a way that you can do it yourself through the SCDMV. Just getting your state issued identification card, you can go to their website, which is on screen. You can locate the branch that's closest to you. They have the forms online for you to fill out so that you can take it in with you, which is the form 447-NC, and it's also linked on their website. You'll need to provide that completed form that includes your social security number. Your legal name and your date of birth must match your social security information when applying. And you may also need your original birth certificate or proof of your current and physical South Carolina address. And so obviously you need other identification to obtain an identification card. So we'll talk about how you can get all of these documents to make sure that you're ready when you go in to get your ID. The real ID is another form of identification that you may need to get once you come back home. And beginning May 7, 2025, according to the South Carolina DMV, you'll need a gold star on your driver's license or ID card to board domestic commercial flights, enter secure federal buildings, or visit a military installation. And so you can still have a state issued ID and pretty much do what you need to do during your everyday life, and it's still sustainable and it's sufficient to get you employment and things like that. But again, if you want to board domestic commercial flights, get into secure federal buildings, or visit military installations, you're going to have to get that real ID by 2025. And what you'll do is you'll provide proof of your identity, proof of your current physical address, at least two things proving what your address is, and then also proof of your legal name. The SCDMV allows you to, there's a link on there that's called the Sweet Carolina application, and it guides you through the required documentation so that you confirm that you have everything that you need before you go into a DMV to purchase your real ID. Well, the SCDMV also has resources if your driver's license has been suspended and say you can't get your driver's license or your ID. The DMV does have multiple programs that can help a person that's seeking to have their driver's license reinstated. They have opportunities such as payment plans, which allows qualifying individuals to obtain a temporary license for 6 months while paying the fees. That balance must be satisfied within those 6 months or the suspension will be reinstated. So if you're a person that's just returning home and it's a pretty high balance and it's not reasonable, or you don't think it's reasonable for you to enter into a payment plan and that you can satisfy the entire balance within 6 months, a payment plan may not be the best option for you at that time. You may need to look forward to one of the other options, such as a route restricted driver's license, which it allows a person to travel to and from work, to school, or court-ordered programs. But it is, just as its name, it's very restricted. But again, it allows you to get where you need to be so that you can eventually get your standard driver's license reinstated. There's also provisional driver's licenses for individuals who obtain DUIs or unlawful alcohol concentration. They may qualify if they pay a $100 fee and enroll in ADSAP programs. And then lastly, there's also the temporary alcohol license, which is used while you're awaiting an administrative hearing regarding your suspension related to an alcohol violation. Another resource or tool that you should be aware of is Driver Suspension Eligibility Week. It's offered every year, usually in March. Unfortunately, it already has taken place this year, which was March 7th through 11th. But it allows drivers with qualifying suspensions to potentially have their fines, fees, or suspension durations waived or reduced. If you're eligible for this week, you'll receive a letter from the SCDMV at your address that's on record. So that's why it's always important once you return or once you move to go ahead and get your address updated with the DMV. Because if you're eligible to have your suspensions waived or reduced, you'll get a letter from them letting you know. And on the screen in front of you right now is just a screenshot of how the SCDMV's website looks. As you can see with the driver services, that's where you will go to find all the information about license reinstatement, state issued identification cards, and the real ID. And then also the forms that I mentioned, you can find those on the top up there where it says forms and manuals, and you can type in the exact number, or once you click on the hyperlinks for driver services, the forms that you'll need to have your to get your state issued ID are there as well. Other required identification or important identification and information that you may need, whether you're trying to get employment or even get your driver's license or your state issued ID, are going to be your birth certificate and social security cards. For your birth certificate, you can go to DHEC's website and click on their vital records link, and you can actually you can apply for it there. And there are other options that it goes directly through how you can obtain your birth certificate yourself. You can do it online on that website, which generally takes 5 to 7 business days to process that request. It's $17 and it's $3 for an additional copy if you would like it. You may be asked to submit a copy of a valid government, school, or employer issued photo ID. In person, you can go into their office, 2600 Bull Street, or you can go to a regional vital records office and they can give you a long form birth certificate. But the average process walking in person is 30 to 45 minutes, but it may vary depending on the location. You'll need the complete application form. You provide a valid government, school, employer issued photo ID again, and it's $12 if you're coming in person. It's non-refundable for that searching fee. You can also mail in an application to get your birth certificate. That can be processed within about 2 to 4 weeks. You mail that completed application form. Again, you need those same valid government, school, employer issued ID or a photocopy of one, and then you can mail to DHEC Vital Records and they'll send you back your birth certificate. Social security cards are the next issue a lot of people run into, and just for the simple fact that they don't know where to go to get it or how to get it. But you can go directly to the ssa.gov, or you can call them at 866-964-7594. You just need to be 18 or older to request your social security card. You can't request it or name change or any other changes to the card online. You're just getting that replacement card. And you will also need your driver's license or state issued ID card to get your social security card. Main hurdle of this month for Second Chance Month is obviously going to be criminal records. A criminal record creates numerous barriers, such as housing, public benefits, employment, whether you want to get a professional license, you want to sit for a professional examination. A criminal record can halt all of these. And so South Carolina offers expungements and pardons as a means to remedying that record and to helping you get back on track. It should be mentioned that not everyone is going to be eligible for an expungement or pardon in the state of South Carolina. but that does not mean that there are not additional resources available to help you get to where you need to be. It's important to know what's on your criminal record when you get out, see exactly how you were charged and how other people are seeing what's on your criminal record. For South Carolina charges, you can obtain your SLED catch report on SLED's website. It's $25. You can either request it online where you put in your name, social, date of birth, and $25 off your credit or debit card, and your SLED report will appear on the screen. Or you can print out the application, fill it out, and mail it to SLED with $25 money order, and they will send it back to you. You also need to include a self-addressed prepaid envelope. If you have one or two charges, or you know exactly where you need to look and see what's on your record, or what county or what year, you can go to the public index, which can be located on the South Carolina Judicial website, sccourts.org. You select record search and the county in which your conviction occurred, and then you enter your name and case number, and your charges should pull up. There's also third-party background checks. If you've been denied a job opportunity after the employer pulled your background report, you can ask for a copy of that report. You should ask for it in writing so you can see exactly what's on it to verify that that information is accurate. But it also allows you to see what the employer sees or what other companies are seeing when you are submitting applications. So here's just the SLED application that, again, you can go to their website and pull up for the criminal record check. This is a copy of the form that you can either print and send to them, or you can complete it online. And then to the right is the South Carolina Judicial website. And again, it's an interactive map of South Carolina. It's really easy to use. You click on the county, put in your name or your case number, and that information should populate on the screen for you. So expungements are the complete destruction of arrest record. You must apply to the solicitor's office in the circuit where your conviction was disposed of. So it can be tricky because you must pay attention or know exactly where you were charged at. So you can't go to Charleston to apply for something that happened in York County. You can't go to Orangeburg to apply for the expungement of something that happened in Aiken. So it's important that you know where your charges were and contact the correct office. There are only certain charges that are eligible for expungement, and there are specific time frames on when you may apply. An expungement is generally $310 per charge, and the breakdown of that is $25 to SLED, $35 to the clerk of court, and $250 to the solicitor's office. The price may vary. If you completed a diversion program, such as pretrial intervention, then it may be $285. Or if your charge resulted in a non-conviction, a null pros, meaning it wasn't prosecuted, or a dismissed charge, it may be free to have that charge expunged. Some organizations provide fee assistance, specifically the WIOA program through SC Works. You can contact the office closest to you to determine how to enroll in their program that assists with job placement and training. And they may pay for your expungement and pardon fees if that's a barrier to you getting employment. You should also ask your solicitor when you're applying through their offices if they have any opportunities for fee assistance to help defray some of those costs, whether they have scholarship opportunities or are there any funds available in the county to help pay for those fees. Another tool could be a pardon. It's the state's forgiveness for your charge. It's not like an expungement where it would completely remove the charges from your record, but it would show that you have the state's forgiveness for your convictions. It still relieves you of the collateral consequences of your record. So everything that you listed on your pardon application, you're asking for that entire record to be pardoned. You must apply via the South Carolina Department of Probation, Parole, and Pardon Services, and that application can also be found online on their website. You can print it and mail it to them. The instructions are on the first page of it. Again, you can list every single charge on your criminal record, unlike an expungement where you're applying per charge. A pardon, you can put everything on there that has been remedied through your sentence that has been complete. You paid our restitution, your complete parole, probation. And there are some caveats regarding the probation and parole requirements. So it's important that you do read the application in its entirety. You may also have the opportunity for pardon to obtain fee assistance via the WIOA program. So how can our organization help you navigate through reentry? We can review your criminal record. We can assess it for accuracy. If it's inaccurate, we can assist with trying to correct that record. We can also help to establish if you're eligible for expungement or pardon. We can apply for an expungement on your behalf. We can help you complete the pardon application and make sure that you have all your documentation, that you've completed the application correctly. We can provide representation to you in pardon hearings. We can determine the necessary requirements for you to have your driver's license reinstated. We can obtain important documents such as your birth certificate or your social security card if you're not able to do so on your own. We can provide you with detailed information on how to navigate these systems on your own via our YouTube channel, where we have plenty of videos, and I've pulled out some that are already up that goes back and explains everything that I've spoken about today. It details how to get through these processes. So removing barriers via expungements and pardons. This video explains exactly what is eligible for expungement in South Carolina, the process, the fees, how you apply, the time frames that I discussed. Also pardons, the same thing, the application, where to find it, how to apply, the process. It's all detailed in that video. Do you have the proper identification? That video lays out how to obtain your birth certificate, social security card, real ID qualifications, and state ID, qualifications, things that you need to obtain before you can get these documents. The driver's license reinstatement in South Carolina explains all the programs that I mentioned in depth and what you need to qualify, and if you qualify for those programs, and who you need to contact to help you get your driver's license reinstated. The filing for a pardon video is dedicated completely to the pardon process. And Real ID, it goes even further into depth about how to get your Real ID card. Other resources for Second Chance Month. We also have a classroom that explains the entire process for expungements and pardons in South Carolina. You can simply Google Learn the Law, but the direct website address is www.learnthelaw.org. And you can sort through the site by selecting our state, South Carolina, in your language. If you select our state, all the classroom for the state will appear, and that's going to include the classroom specifically on expungements and pardons of criminal records in South Carolina. This is how the classroom will look, and as you can see, it gives you the exact steps that you need to take to get an expungement or pardon in South Carolina, seek a pardon in South Carolina. There's even a video on there that if you don't have time to go through all the steps at once, you can watch the quick video, and it also gives you a detailed overview of the process. Lastly, just some general second chance resources that may be helpful for anybody returning to society, or as mentioned earlier, 1 in 3 Americans have a criminal record. So it may not even be individuals who have been incarcerated. It just may be someone with a criminal record that didn't entail them to have to be incarcerated. So you have the National Reentry Resource Center that provides resources, federal resources on housing, employment, Second Chance Month in general. It just gives you an overview of all the resources available to you and your rights as well. The SE Works WIOA program. Again, this program helps with job training and employment opportunities. And if you contact the SE Works that's closest to you, you can inquire about their WIOA program and what you need to do to enroll. They will help with fees for pardons and expungements. The South Carolina Department of Corrections has a Second Chance Reentry Resource Guide and housing resource list specific to our state. I've included the link so that you can visit that website and see more state-specific resources for you. Root and Rebound also has a reentry planning toolkit, and that's also linked. And even the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs. And these are only a few resources that we've pulled, but there are many across the state. There's a reason that South Carolina has such a low recidivism rate, and that's because there are many organizations working together and putting this information out so that you don't have to look for it yourself. And that is all that I have on the resources available with South Carolina Legal Services and others across the state. But I definitely encourage you to watch those other videos that I mentioned a while ago, as they completely detail every single thing that I've discussed in this video.
That's so great, Tiffany. Thank you for taking the time to talk about second chances and reentry resources that are available. And that was a great review of all the wonderful resources that we have here at South Carolina Legal Services, with you leading the way to put all that together from time to time. Just really great stuff. And I definitely encourage our audience to go check those out. The Learn the Law Classroom, all the specific videos that go into more detail, as you said. And let me just say, for our audience right now, we got a QR code up on the screen, and that's a way for you to scan the QR code, and it takes you to a form where you can suggest a topic for Level Up Law. So if there's something that you wish that we would talk about here, we would love to hear from you. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. And also, just while you're doing that, as I mentioned, we will post a recording of today's episode on our YouTube channel. Just look for the Level Up Law playlist on YouTube at SC Legal Services. And when you go there to our YouTube page, if you have not checked that subscribe button, please do that now. We are about to hit 2,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and that is, just really exciting, and you can help us hit that number. So do that. And if you do sign up for notifications while you're there, you can know every time that we post a new video, whether it's Level Up Law or any other video resources that we share there on our YouTube channel. So also, while you're there, if you found this video helpful, which I'm sure you did, go ahead and share it out, because it may be helpful to others as well. And if you share it out, we can make sure that more people find out about the information that we have here at South Carolina Legal Services, here on Level Up Law, and all of our other resources, which you now see on your screen. This is the information on applying for our services. We've got intake specialists who are standing by with that phone number, but also you can apply online 24/7. Our intake office is only open from 9 to 6 Monday through Thursday, but after that, you can use that lawhelp.org to apply for our services online, and sometimes that's a little bit easier to do with people's work schedules and so forth. So definitely check that out. We do have this other QR code here on this slide, and that is a way for you to sign up for our Legal Services newsletter, and a way for you to get information from us directly about what we're doing here at Legal Services, and upcoming Level Up Law episodes, and all kinds of great information So definitely scan that QR code as well. Now you see all our social media icons here, and just newsflash there, we're on TikTok now, right? We're always putting up some great resources both on our website as well as on the social media outlets. So definitely check it out. It can be informative, but also sometimes a lot of fun. We want as many people to get the important information that we have out there in whatever format is best for them. And they may not need it, but they may know somebody who does. So definitely share that information. Well, that concludes the presentation for today. I want to thank Attorney Tiffany Love for a terrific presentation, as always. And thanks to you, our audience. We really do appreciate you tuning in with us, and we hope the information is helpful to you. Whether you're live with us or on the replay, thanks for joining us. And also, be sure to tune in next week for Attorney Kylie Sutton. She is a Richland County Assistant Public Defender and Homeless Court Attorney. You know, our Supreme Court supports homeless court projects, and we already have some, but we need more. And Kylie will be defining homeless court for us. What's that all about? How can we, hopefully support the creation of more homeless courts around the state? So that promises to be a very informative presentation, and certainly because this April is also Fair Housing Month, and we're trying to bring you not only second chances subject matter, but also fair housing subject matter on Level Up Law this month. So that will, I think, be really informative for our listeners. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, thanks, Tiffany. Thank you, producer Kenneth, as well as our viewers, both live and on the replay. That concludes today's webinar. Take care, everybody.